now, and we want to start by focusing on psychology matters because of course if people are going through having recently lost a job that maybe they held for 30 years, 20, 10, it doesn't matter. If you've got your plans and you've settled into them, it's going to be a blow. So we have back with us Brenda Roach. She's a registered counseling psychologist here to help you, try to encourage you certainly on some of the things you can do to make your way through this. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you back.
It's good to be back to talk about such a good conversation in terms of job loss.
And that's the thing, sometimes you have to get talking about it. So let's just do a quick recap of some of the major points from last time as we get into this morning's discussion.
Okay, so from last time we would have been speaking about the grief, mourning the loss of a job, because as you would have mentioned, yes, having a job for 30, 20, 10 years, it doesn't matter how long.
Yeah.
You get accustomed to getting up in the morning, having a routine, you have some place to go. And not having that on mornings, but yet your alarm clock's still going off, that triggers something in you. But to acknowledge that grief, acknowledge the fact that yes, you can get sad, yes, that can happen, but being able to work through that grief as you go along.
Even more important.
Yes, even more important. So embracing how you are feeling, acknowledging the fact that yes, this does happen. Having support, family support, friend support, whoever you can turn to speak about how you're feeling, and not dwelling in the what ifs and why did this happen to me.
Yeah. Okay, so once we embrace that and we move out of the self-pity, because that is easy to do, and you may want to do that for a little bit. You want to allow yourself to have your catharsis, but once you've accepted, you're trying to pull yourself out of maybe a little depression that this has brought on. You're worried. How do you move on from there?
Right. There was a slide up just now and it was speaking about workshops that organizations can start to do, to help soften the blow.
So
before people are actually sent home. So even Dr. Ermine Bell, she would have had an article in Barbados Today last year, and she was speaking about, having organizations do some workshops to help sensitize staff so that they know, what's going to be happening. And I was pleased to see that, this administration has started with offering retrenchment training for people who would have been sent home recently. So I'm happy to see that. But getting out, now that once you have begun to accept and realize, well, yes, this has happened to me, and you have worked through your grief, you've worked through your loss. I mean, it takes a little time, but then you can start creating some lists, as an individual. So creating some lists can help to avoid the anxiety and the stress that you may experience.
Okay, so lists.
So looking at how long will my resources last me, that goes a long way to establishing whether you just have to go back out there quickly and find a job, or whether you have time to sit down and think and process and see, well, what do I want to do next?
Yeah. And relax as well.
And relax as well, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so once you determine if you have time or you need to get a job as quickly as possible so that you keep a buffer of some sort, how do you deal with that? Because that's the other thing. Some people may have been out of the writing job applications and resumes for quite some time.
That is true. So to try to alleviate that stress on yourself, you start by, you can look at your resume, see what may be on it, see if there's anything that you need to add, see if maybe your resources can allow you to maybe go and do a course, a seminar somewhere that can sharpen your skills. The list too can help you in terms of overthinking, the negative thinking that may come into play. So for instance, we tend to wallow, as you said, in the self-pity. So rally that support that you can okay, right, so individually you can revise your budget to fit your current situation, because obviously things will be changing within your household. But then rallying the supporters, positive family members that you can confide in, positive friends, or even if you can seek a counselor, psychologist, if you don't want to speak to family members or friends, or you may not have somebody who is as positive as you need them to be to support you, to bring you out of when you keep saying, why did this happen to me? Maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I can't find something else to do.
Yeah. And people need to understand that it's okay to seek counsel.
Yes, of course, it is.
It's okay.
It's okay.
As we, because your health, your mental stability is what is most important.
It is.
Because sometimes you have to accept again you may not be able to get through it on your own.
Exactly.
What are some of the other points we can consider?
Being kind to yourself. So yes, exercising, physical and mental health go hand in hand. Yeah. So if you're, I mean, at first you might binge eat a little bit, or you might binge watch TV shows, and that's fine. That's completely normal. All part of the journey. But of course, not to stick to that. You know, you have to pull yourself out, make sure you exercise and eat properly. So that's being kind to yourself. There may be a shift in family life, because as you know, if somebody's going home, maybe somebody else may have to pick up extra shifts in the house, or maybe you have children, and children notice a lot. So it's good to talk to those children within the household, let them know what is happening. You don't have to let them know detail by detail, but at least they know, well, if mommy or daddy is home more often, what's happening. They don't so they don't tend to worry themselves.
Yeah. Or you might have to change some of your behavior, like social activity. You may not be able to engage in some things, you know, now that you have to watch the budget a little more closely.
Exactly.
So it's all a matter of keeping the communication channels open, and if they're children, but manage it so that they can still enjoy their childhoods and not worry.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And it's a serious balancing act.
It is. It really is. And you know that children are like sponges, so they absorb a lot. So if they see that mommy or daddy is stressed, or, you know, not really managing or coping well, then that can affect them as well.
Okay, so you got to switch your focus. Okay,
yes.
How critical is that?
Switching your focus, that is critical. You know, you have to reframe and change your mindset from being the victim, as they would say, to, you know, being more open-minded. My job loss is not the end of the world. There may be something else out there that is better for me. Changing the job to what you may want in the future, your passion. A lot of people say they have a lot of passions, but, you know, I tend to challenge that a bit, to say, well, I know that there's something that is at the forefront of your mind that you would like to do, you know. So switching your focus and being hopeful about the future, that's important.
Okay, so hope and maintaining that, well, looking at the other options. Maybe sometimes these things also force you into something you've been delaying.
Exactly.
Yeah, a positive thing that you can develop for yourself. Okay, so we're moving through. You have to establish goals, I imagine. If you're going to change your course, you have to set a new one.
Yes, that is true. So what do you want to do? Do you want to go back into the same sector you were in before? Maybe you love that sector and you would like to go back. Or maybe you would like to change altogether and look in another direction. I mean, if finances are good and you may want to go back to school and learn something that can take you into the career that you really want, your dream job, that's good. If that job wasn't your ideal job, what might you like to do? What is your passion? Review, as I said, plan, see what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. What is it that you can bring to a new organization if you plan to do that?
Reach out to one. And it may be a review of a resume for some, and it may be creating a whole resume.
Exactly. Yes, it is. It's true. Because some people would have gone into jobs at such young ages that you didn't need a resume at that time.
Or it's on a diskette. Like something that it's not, you know, that doesn't work anymore. So
a diskette. I can't remember last time I heard that.
Yes. What about floppy?
Yes.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
So it just goes to show, maybe this is also a reminder for those still employed to stay current. Not necessarily that you're looking for an out, but just to keep things current while you're there and keep updating as well.
Yes,
like you alluded to.
Yes.
So as we go to break, the takeaway for today.
Takeaway for today: stay positive. Be kind to yourself. That's number one. Be kind to yourself. Know that yes, you might be in a rut right now, things may be down, but things can turn around.
Yeah, things will get better. Buju Banton has a song with that line in it. Hey, there's some inspiration for you. Thank you so very much. Brenda Roach, registered counseling psychologist. It's 6:28.